Okay guys, welcome back to another episode of Bench Pressing Questions. We're on our way to London to meet today's guest. He made his name in progress wrestling. He's now making waves across the UK independent scene. He's also Ibiza's favourite wrestler. Okay guys, as I said in the car, this is my guest, big wavy Roy Johnson. We're going to drink our pre-workout now. It's Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Fruit Punch. So give you a shaker, a bit of a 1-2.
That's really nice.
I think I'm going to need all of this pre-workout and a bit more because having done my research on Roy, before he even got into wrestling, he was a powerlifter. Now that means he's shifting around some serious weight. So you go from powerlifting to progress to WWE to the independent scene. So Roy, talk me through your journey into wrestling.
I mean, I've always been a massive wrestling fan.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense if you're going to start into something I guess so painful and hard work as wrestling. If you don't like it, it's a bit waste of time.
It's going to be a waste of time, definitely.
But always been a big fan. I actually wanted to try it when I left university, but I decided to go play American football instead. Played that for a couple of years, and then I ended up training with some powerlifters who convinced me to do a competition, and a competition became probably 20 plus. And I actually got to quite a good level with it.
Yeah.
So
you competed at European Championships, World Championships, is that correct?
So first competition I did, just a regional one. Qualified then for the British. So I've lifted countless British championships and lifted the World Championships in 2012. 2013 I won the European Championships in deadlift. Won the British Open in 2014. Broke a British record in 2015.
So is that for deadlift or?
Yeah, deadlift. Yeah. So basically, across my journey in powerlifting, I realised the lifts I'm like okay at, good at, really good at, and deadlift as well. I was really good at. So I don't know if I'm built properly for deadlift. I've maybe got long arms or something.
Okay, guys. So we're going to flip the coin now. Roy's going to call. We're going to see who's going to lead the workout today. So Roy, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads it is. There we go. So you're in charge. Right. We'll get changed and then we'll get cracking.
Today we're actually training push today, so chest, shoulders, then triceps roll. So it's lucky for Iestyn because if this was like deadlift day or something, then he'd be like going home like.
I'll be going home. You'd be driving home, Max, because there's no way I'm keeping up with Roy when it comes to the deadlift.
So luckily it's push today, so it's going to be nice and calm for Iestyn.
What was your British record then?
So the British record was 280 full time. So the really annoying thing is that competition I did was in the middle when I was wrestling. So I wasn't really properly focused.
You were fully into the training.
I was into wrestling then. So and my coach was like, I'm doing this competition. Do you want to jump in with me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Did a quick
full prep and
a quick training prep with him, and then. That's how it works in powerlifting, or this particular federation. You give your 3 lifts before you start. Did my 3rd lift, the last one, the one with the record, flew up. And I was like, oh no, I've not.
could have gone for 300 or something like that.
I was like, I knew if I did 300 on that day, I would have had 300. And because the weight it flew up, and my coach was like, because I'm a federation, if you break a record, they let you break it again.
Oh really?
They didn't let me do it.
Oh, what a disaster.
And that's the last competition I've done.
And then you'd already started your wrestling training there, so
I was well into wrestling at that point.
How did you find the school? Because you trained at the Progress School, if that's correct.
Right, so my foray into like British wrestling was I used to go and watch Progress shows. So from about 2013, I was quite regularly at the chapter shows watching. So I was aware of the school, but I didn't really have any interest at that time. I tried it because I was too tied up with powerlifting and stuff. But I went to one of the Endeavour shows, which is a mix between the students from the shows and trainers and regular people who had a progress. And I was talking to Ali Armstrong, who at the time was he trained there, and he was just basically trying to get me to come down to the school. He was like, "Oh, you're a big guy. All this sort of stuff."
The standard wrestler. Wrestler means someone that's in shape. You should try wrestling. You're big,
and I kind of just put it back on mind. I didn't really think about it, and then on my last, this wasn't my last power competition. I had a power competition. At that time, I got injured, so I didn't wrap my legs properly in a squat, and just had like a very minor like tear, MCL tear. And I was just thought to myself, why am I doing this? Because I don't get anything out of powerlifting other than I might get a nice trophy or a nice medal or something, and it's a nice pat on the back from the coach. There's no money in it. Like, I have to go back to work the next day and stuff, and like, I wasn't enjoying it, especially getting injured as well. It's such a silly little injury. I thought, when I'm better on the rest, I'm going to try out wrestling, just because it's one of them things that I wanted to just see what it's like.
I think that's how most people get in. I think most people are athletes. I was like myself. Like, I'd always watched wrestling as a kid. And I played basketball to a high standard, and then I thought, I could do that wrestling. But like for me, it was like, where do you even start to look for stuff? And like, this is before like wrestling really blew up in Britain. And then I just thought to myself, well, I'll give it a go. Worst comes is like, it's rubbish or I'm rubbish. Yeah. And then
that was the thing. It's like I didn't want to do it, and then like I'm rubbish at it, and then it takes my love out of like going to shows and watching and stuff. But like, so obviously I was aware of the progress school. Yeah. I woke up one morning, just packed a bag and put the sat nav, the postcode into my sat nav, and it was 25 minutes drive from my house. So I was like, this is a complete no-brainer. I went down there and had my first session. Obviously, it was like a beginner's kind of session.
Introduction.
So it's very much like rolls and a lot of cardio. Got home, I was completely battered. I just sat on my sofa and just didn't get up for the rest of the day. Yeah. But I got up and carried on doing it. Yeah. So,
mainly like one working set, or is it like a working and a back off, or?
It depends. So at the moment it's like three working for certain things, and then I think a lot of my leg training is like things like muscle rounds, working sets, double drops, that kind of stuff. So upper body is not as bad.
Not as bad, from there, and then obviously you started working on the shows and stuff like that. So how did you find that transition from being a trainee to being on the shows and stuff like that?
So this is, I guess, probably indicative of me more as a powerlifter or anything, more than anything. But like when I started out with Maguire, I could focus on that, and I was in the ring training every day pretty much.
You'd already probably got that mentality. You knew what it's like to be a successful athlete and what that kind of takes. I think that's something that some guys turn up to wrestling training schools and they haven't had that athletic sporting experience. Like I know for the same for me. Like when I was training, it was literally like my 3 sessions a week. I'd turn up, I'd do them, and that would be like everything that my week would be planned around that and stuff like that.
So I literally wake up. I get up 6 in the morning, go to the gym, and then go to work. Yeah. And after work, go wrestling training. I was doing that every day. That was like basically my routine. I think I had like one day off during the week of like doing that. And it got to the point where like I was training so much that my trainer at the time was like, you should probably actually have a few days off. Because like you're gonna get into stuff where you're just gonna be beaten
burnt
all
out.
the time and stuff. So fair enough, I did that. But yeah, I was training quite regularly, and I think because of that, I picked wrestling up really quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it probably helps that I watched a lot.
Yeah,
I've watched it for years. I started training in like beginning of November 2014 and made my debut on the 1st of March.
Oh wow, so really, so like
really
five months really, yeah, that's brilliant. And then obviously from there things really kind of took off quite quickly for you. You know, obviously Work in Progress is one of the biggest independent companies in the whole world now. And obviously then you obviously got the opportunity with NXT UK when they initially put out the first UK tournament and stuff like that. So how did that sort of come about and stuff?
So I got onto the Progress chapter shows really quickly. This is like a kind of theme of like things happening. I ended up in positions where I was doing things really quickly. So I had my first match really quickly.
Yeah.
I think like my 17th match, I was on the chapter show, Progress, which is ridiculous. And then on I think it might have been my 20th match or something.
Yeah.
I was on another chapter show, and William Regal was there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he was there for. I think he was just in the country and he'd been invited to the show. And I think quite a few people actually on that show ended up getting signed. So,
well, it's you know, it's one of the two biggest indies in the country. You know, the standard of the shows is really high. So if you're a guy from WWE and you're looking for British talent, that's one of the places that you're going to go. So it's not surprising that, you know, a lot of guys got picked up and you know, signed off the back of those sort of shows and stuff like that.
That particular show, I had the Wasteman Challenge and I had a match on that show.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of leaving a stamp on that show, you made the most of my real estate on that show, basically.
And obviously with the Wasteman Challenge, that showed that you know, you're confident on the microphone and everything and stuff as well. So that's one thing that the WWE is obviously clearly looking for, is people that have got more than one facet to their wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah. And Mr. Regal was really impressed with what he saw that day from me. Obviously he knew that my level of experience wasn't like, you know, on the level of other people.
Pete Dunne or something like that.
He remembered me from that show, and like he said to me, he'll come and check in and see how I'm doing in a year or so. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm not expecting to hear anything from that. And then, so that was July. I think maybe 3-4 months later.
Yeah.
I just got a message from like a mutual friend.
Yeah.
Mr. Regal and stuff, saying, he wants your contact details.
Yeah.
Might be some work or something. And I thought, well, they're not over here for like the tour twice a year, so I don't know what kind of work would it be or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I gave him my details. He gave me a call, like not long after, and we had a chat, and he just said, look, we should do something in the UK. Are you interested? Like, yeah. and that's it. And I didn't know what it was. And then obviously everyone came down to the UK when they announced the tournament.
Yeah, the press conference.
We didn't know what it was until they announced it.
Oh really? Bloody hell.
So, and then I had the match with Pete Dunne. That was I think once that's my 35th match in wrestling.
Bloody hell, I mean, my 35th match in wrestling was probably not at the standard of the, you know, on the WWE. I think my 35th match was in some holiday camp somewhere in front of about 50 people.
I wish that, looking back, I wish that was I wish I had like way more under my belt than that. But it's all crazy stuff.
Yeah. Now back on the independent scene, obviously, you know, you're branching out, you're working a lot more sort of companies and stuff like that. What's your sort of plans for 2022? Where does Roy Johnson want to be at the end of 2022 compared to now?
I mean, I'm quite. I guess I've realised that I'm probably one of the older people on the scene.
No, you're not as old as me, so don't worry about that.
No one's as old as you.
Not as well. A few guys are, but not many.
So how that relates to like goals and stuff.
Yes.
I guess it's some of the stuff I want to do may not be as achievable as they would have been 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I still want to wrestle on TV.
Yeah.
I have goals outside of that as well. So I want to run my own show.
Yeah. Because you ran, or you were part. You ran. You did. Was it you running your own show, or were you in with someone to run?
Me and Wrestling Research.
Yeah.
Show. I basically booked the show.
Yeah.
They helped with the logistics and the infrastructure, everything that I need to.
And is that something you want? Is there going to be another one of those shows like a sequel, or would you rather do something on your own now?
So I want to do another one, probably with paying with a promotion, and then go and find something on my own. And then take out wherever I decide to take it.
Yeah.
Outside of wrestling, something we spoke about the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a bodybuilding competition. At some point.
So your coach, I know your coach because he beat me at the British finals. He's a fantastic bodybuilder and like he's clearly a very, very good coach. So obviously something that I've noticed through my coaching is that wrestlers are starting to invest in themselves a little bit more physically and stuff like that. So what was it that made you reach out? Was it you that reached out to him to start the coaching and stuff like that?
I've known Craig for like a while, like a good maybe 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Like just from like internet forums and stuff. And I met him for the first time at Body Powerlifting.
Yeah.
And we just kind of spoke every so often about it, and I thought to myself, because obviously we had this long period of time where it was
lockdown where no one's wrestling.
Yeah, lockdown, no one's wrestling. And then we had obviously progress started taking in January, and I was doing the hosting, and I thought to myself, right, there's going to be a point where I'm going to come back to wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be on like progress tapings or what have you, but when that time comes, I want to be in the best shape like of my life.
Yeah.
Like I know my way around the gym. I know about my diet, nutrition and stuff, but it's when you put all that in someone else's hands, it's a completely different animal.
Do you find that the accountability, like knowing that you're checking it in within once a week, like I know for myself, because obviously I've got a coach as well, and obviously, you know, I know that when I'm checking in with him, like I know that if I haven't ticked all those boxes in the week, it's going to be a bad check-in, and I think that when you've got that little thing in the back of your head, it means that you have that urge to have a McDonald's or whatever it may be, but you curve yourself away from that and you stick on your diet, you stick to your training plan and stuff like that. And I think that wrestling's going in a way now, like you've got guys in WWE, AEW, they're all hiring coaches and stuff like that to make it as easy as possible for themselves. I think guys coming up on the independent scene, if they're serious about trying to get to that next level or 2 levels above, the coaching is something that all of them need to sort of be looking into, either to have someone to be accountable to or someone to learn from, so they can learn about the diet, the nutrition, the training and stuff like that. Because I know from myself and probably from yourself as well, for me the biggest thing of getting a coach was the level of intensity in training. Like my coach Lee stepped my level of intensity up in my training 10 times, because I thought I trained hard, and then you go with a guy who's a professional bodybuilder and then you're like, oh my god, I don't even train hard, like this is ridiculous.
you said one word in that stuck out to me, and it's getting a coach. I found this will probably get taken the wrong way, but I found it made things easier to get what I wanted to get to, because all I had to do was just do what he said.
There's a plan,
and
do
that's
it.
yeah.
And that's the big thing I would say to all my clients is like, they're like, oh, you know, I'm like, if you just stick to what I've given you, I know that this formula will get you to where you want to be. And I think that sometimes people, they're so used to being, you know, trying to control things themselves. When you take that control and you put it in someone else's mind, all you got to focus on, right, I've got to eat this, I've got to train like that, and then it is easily done. Cool, so I think that's pretty much enough. We've got a bit of a journey. We've gone from the powerlifting to the wrestling, to the training.